DayZ, the Fate of South Zargonia in Chernarus. Chernarus, also known as Black Russia, is a post-Soviet country located south of Russia and east of Takistan, situated on the Green Sea. This country is rich in history and culture, with one of the most notable areas being South Zagoria. South Zagoria boasts an impressive landscape, stretching from the coastal regions in the south and east to a steep mountain range in the north. The idyllic landscape of South Zagoria was once characterized by picturesque villages, fertile fields, and extensive forests. The inhabitants mainly relied on agriculture, livestock farming, and local trade, fostering a close-knit community. The larger cities in the south, including Elektrozavodsk and the industrial city of Chernogorsk, served as economic centers where trade and culture flourished. To the north, a more densely populated urban region extended from Severograd to Svetloyarsk, contrasting with the more rural areas. People lived peaceful lives and enjoyed the natural beauty of their homeland. The relationship between the various communities was generally harmonious, and life was tranquil. Military bases and airports were remnants of past times when Chernarus faced uncertain geopolitical circumstances. However, the population had largely grown accustomed to the presence of military facilities, and there were no major tensions between the citizens and the military. However, peace and tranquility were abruptly shattered by a tragedy. In the depths of the Pavlovo Military Laboratory, located in the heart of South Zagoria, scientists conducted risky experiments on behalf of the government. The goal was to develop a novel biological weapon system. The researchers manipulated a previously unknown microorganism in hopes of creating a controllable biological threat. Unfortunately, the experiment spiraled out of control. The genetic structure of the microorganism mutated unexpectedly, evolving into a highly contagious virus. Despite being in a high-security laboratory, the safety measures were insufficient to halt the rapid spread due to the novelty and uniqueness of the virus. Panic ensued as scientists attempted to regain control of the situation. They enveloped the laboratory and surrounding military complex in a deadly gas cloud, hoping to destroy the virus as well. However, the quarantine measures proved inadequate, and the virus escaped into the surrounding environment. The government sought to regain control and reacted by attempting to suppress news of the incident and isolate the outbreak. A special quarantine zone was established on Skalisti Island, where individuals with initial contact with the virus and contaminated material were transported. However, this resulted in the alpha virus concentrating on Skalisti, where it continued to develop unchecked in the trapped humans and animals. Apparently, the virus mutated in this environment, and especially in the animals enclosed there to unimaginable extents. There are reports of the most terrifying beings and creatures evolving there. However, the remaining areas of South Zagoria were quickly overtaken by reality. The epidemic spread further across the cities and villages of South Zagoria. Initial signs of the epidemic were initially dismissed by residents as a common illness, but the number of infected individuals rapidly increased. Hospitals were quickly overwhelmed, streets flooded with panicked crowds, and the government struggled to contain the spread of the epidemic. Resources dwindled, and social structures gradually collapsed. Ultimately, a state of emergency was declared for the entire region, with the police and military continuing to attempt to regain control. But the situation continued to deteriorate. The virus, which had the ability to transform people into aggressive undead creatures, spread faster and faster, and more infected individuals roamed the streets, attacking everything living. Hordes of zombies ultimately overwhelmed the military bases, bringing down the last resilient bastions. In a short time, South Zagoria became a dangerous world infested by the undead. The region was separated from the rest of Chernarus by construction measures, but especially by massive military presence. The government and military are trying to prevent the spread of the epidemic and fight the undead. To this end, it was ordered to saturate the area of South Zagoria with various military actions. These include constant bomber and gas attacks. In order to stop the zombies, military special units are regularly dispatched to the area of Chernarus. However, these military units quickly fell into disrepute as they relentlessly hunt down anything they encounter. From the remnants of some secret documents found, it became known that these military units have access to special supply crates. However, why these seemingly appear and disappear arbitrarily throughout South Zagoria remains unclear to this day. But it is suspected that this too is related to highly secret experiments in the Pavlovo military complex. There are, among other things, indications of a stealth project called the Philadelphia DNA Project. As it becomes increasingly clear now, the military facility in Pavlovo was a stronghold for various, sometimes highly sensitive military experiments. Apparently, prototypes of robot-like super soldiers with exoskeletons were also produced here. It is feared that the recent events may only be the tip of the iceberg and that Pandora's box has been opened here. No one can predict what further effects the collapse of the research facility in Pavlovo will have. Since then, this fateful day of the catastrophe has been called DayZ. Although this is probably the greatest disaster in human history, miraculously, some individuals seem to be immune to the virus and defy all odds. The struggle for survival in the battered region of South Zagoria has become a battle against the darkness of the apocalypse. Amidst the ruins of once flourishing cities and villages, which were once home to the peaceful inhabitants of the region, survivors must constantly contend with the threats of the epidemic and the remnants of the old world. Former symbols of progress and civilization, such as Chernarus, have become dangerous survival areas. The former trade routes have become dangerous paths where survivors risk zombie attacks and encounters with hostile survivors. With the collapse of any societal structure, these people have developed their own survival strategies. Since you never know who to trust in these times, and to avoid drawing attention to oneself as much as possible, some wander as lone wolves through the lands and try their luck, mostly alone. Some sought refuge in remote areas, hoping to escape the chaos and establish a self-sufficient community. Others have come together to fight the threat together, share resources, and find a way out of this unreality. Yet others have joined ruthless bandit-like groups to profit as quickly as possible from the disaster. Survivors are forced to adapt, find creative solutions, and use the remnants of the old world to create a new one. In the midst of chaos and despair, some have tried to maintain a semblance of normality by establishing trading posts for the remaining survivors, enabling the trade of goods and weapons. Others have discovered the possibility of lucrative deals on the black market. In this new reality, the values of humanity and solidarity are crucial. Communities form, and survivors must learn to rely on each other to endure in this harsh world. Every day is a struggle for resources, security, and the survival of humanity against the overwhelming threat of the undead. Nevertheless, the survivors cling to the hope of restoring normalcy. The challenges are great and the sacrifices are numerous, but the survivors of the catastrophe continue to fight because they do not want to lose faith in a better future. Thus, the struggle continues in South Zagoria, a story of courage, perseverance, and the desire for a new beginning in a world marked by the shadows of the past.